Alright, no script today, no fancy introduction. You saw the title, you know we're going with this one. Lily Orchard has accused me of plagiarism, despite the fact there being absolutely no evidence for this whatsoever. Actually, let's just back up a second here. In the last 24 hours, there's been a coordinated effort, or maybe a loosely coordinated, who actually knows, to sabotage my channel by one Lily Orchard. Now, Lily, of course, I've made 2 videos about, and a couple of responses to her attempts to silence me, and some reaction streams. Lily Orchard, in this past July, I think it was, filed copyright strikes against 5 of my streams, claiming I stole her content, and that 100% of my streams were her stolen content. When I contested this, she relented and my videos came back up. Now Lily is back with some new accusations against me that I think are worth actually discussing. Now, I've ignored most of what Lily has said. She posts about me about 15 times a day, and I usually respond to maybe one of them every couple of weeks, if I skimp. But the reality is simply, in the last 24 hours, there's been a new level to what she's doing that has escalated matters to the point where I need to respond. It started with an email sent to multiple big-name YouTubers last night. The email in question, which I will show on screen right now, but with the redaction of the sender as well as the YouTubers sent this message, because I don't want to get them involved. It's not their business. They're just being dragged into an argument that's not really relevant to them. In case that flashed on screen too fast, I am going to take time to read some of the letter to you right now. Dear YouTube entrepreneurs, I am writing this letter to you in order to speak against the actions of an upcoming YouTube media critic, Anthony Grimuglia. He, alongside his newly found friends, Cy Scribbles, she/her, and Crimson Ender, he/they, have been organizing what now qualifies as a harassment campaign. I just want to point out that Crimson Ender's pronouns are not he/they. That would be misgendering, but I digress. Ever since Hiding in Private's 3-hour response video has inspired them to have their own take on the matter, the trend that followed quickly stopped being the matter of criticism. I've tried to mitigate between them and minimize the damage done. My efforts were futile. Maybe you can steer him the right way. He looks up to you. He buddies with you. He commissions artwork. Proof it's no longer criticism. The creator affected by the harassment I am not expecting you to like or respect. On Tumblr, there are now at least 70 individual blogs dedicated to dunking on her. Several named just like her. The size is on par with has-been hotel critics, sick, and is interacting with them daily. Cy is very happy to use any incriminating evidence against Lily, like Patreon-exclusive audio leaked by Kiwi Farms.
Verbal abuse doesn't affect me. I've been verbally abused almost constantly for like 25 years of my life. It does affect you. It does affect your self-worth. Getting a torrent of...
Oh, boo hoo 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 hoo. You have said worse things about me than I have about you, Lily. At least I criticize things you actually do.
Almost constant vicious hate mail and slanderous YouTube videos and people...
Okay, you could just delete emails you don't like. I don't think my YouTube videos are slanderous. I respond to the things you say.
For Ant, it is acceptable behavior. Bear in mind, every stream clip you see from Lily was 99.9% is from the copy archived by Kiwi Farms, like the one used in Ant's video at 9 minutes. An artist once issued a takedown notice for one of her videos, and she fought it.
The first time, in true YouTube fashion, they go, oh, well, you know, we're unsure, so, like, we're not gonna forward it, but you can resubmit it if you want. So this time I just put in, I am prepared to go to court.
Oh.
And if they do this again, I will resubmit it again and go, if you do not submit if my video is not reinstated, I will take all of your asses to court. Because in general, I've been able to tolerate the YouTube copyright lunacy, until YouTube started randomly deciding not to forward counter notifications.
Bring it on!
Oh, yeah.
And ever since people realized that they can just submit counter notifications and 100% of the time they'll get their videos back, YouTube's actually made deals with certain corporations to just not forward counter notifications. In those circumstances, you just flat out can't counter notify. But I highly doubt YouTube has a deal with some random nobody who, if their art had been used in a context, like, positive, we wouldn't have heard jack shit. It's because it was used in a negative context.
Yes, Lily. It's strange how when your art was used in a negative context, you started copyright claiming people all of a sudden. Strange, then you did the same thing to a smaller artist when they argued that you used their art without crediting them. She's very clearly aware that then the consequences of a, maybe a little a superfluous flag, and she herself at the time said she'd take it to the court systems. Well, in this situation, Lily, if you try to take down one of my videos, I will respond as need be. Here's Sai encouraging harassment on her stream. This goes on to list a bunch of accusations, all of which are just clips of publicly available YouTube clips that I can show you, all of which are pretty innocuous, really. So I ask you, Lily, what if she's a bitch? So what if she's a lousy critic? So what if she doesn't take criticism? So what if she hates Rocky Horror? So what if she's writing Mary Sue's at 30? Does that excuse their behavior? Were this to happen to any Fox News commentator, even you would agree that this took too far. And we're talking about the individual with the third longest thread on Kiwi Farms. I'm not going to get into that. Ant might hate Kiwi Farms, but their videos have so far earned their respect. Whatever criticism they have, considering the form it takes, it ain't worth it. I also, and it goes on to discuss Lily Orchard's accusations by Courtney. It takes up about half the email. These particular accusations were very illogical, based on conspiratorial kind of nonsense. In fact, one implied there was a conspiracy of us ganging up on people because one person commissioned an avatar from another person. It's a lot of nonsense and a lot of real extrapolation. One of the YouTubers forwarded it to me, said, hey, this is someone stalking you. This is kind of ridiculous. I've reached out to many of the people who messaged, and we discussed it. No one takes this message seriously. The email itself is kind of irrelevant. The email's intent is more interesting to me and more disturbing to me. Now, I do not believe Lily actually sent this email. I think it was a fan. The email is from a Polish address, and we have reason to maybe believe it's one or two trolls who frequent our comment section on streams. But the reality simply is that this was a clear attempt to sabotage working relationships with other YouTubers in my niche. Some YouTubers fairly substantial. I don't think a single one of them had less than 100,000 subs. These are fairly sizable YouTubers who I look up to, and some of them I have a working relationship with, some of which I'm mutuals with online. So clearly it was an attempt to sabotage my relationship with other YouTubers, which is something that would be not very good for my channel. Thankfully, everyone involved had a good laugh about it, and no one took it too seriously. What I find more concerning is the list of Tumblr blogs that they listed in the email. These, I think, over 70 blogs they associated with some big movement against Lily Orchard. These 70 blogs are being stalked and harassed by Lily's fans, and most likely this information is being shared with Lily, which implies that they are keeping track of every single person critical of Lily, even if they're a small, tiny Tumblr user with like 100 followers, if that. This is meticulous, and it is deeply disturbing, because this implies that if you've ever criticized Lily once online, Lily or her fans are cataloging it and keeping track of you. That I find deeply disturbing. But not as disturbing as Lily's recent accusations against me on a recent live stream, which, again, happened fairly recently. During this live stream, Lily can be seen editing her upcoming video, in which she responds to both myself and Crimson Ender, which is, whatever. Who cares? I don't really care if she responds to my media takes. In fact, I encourage anyone to criticize my media takes in general. I think it's interesting and fun to discuss media. But it's her accusations while editing, outside of the video itself, that I find concerning.
Two of Twitter's biggest cockroaches, Crimson Ender and Anthony Gramaglia, rose to the occasion and offered 50 examples. Bear in mind, this discussion was about villains who had a point being done well, which meant that, 1, the villain had...
Second G is silent, though. I don't care. Okay, here's the thing.
Why are you correcting me on how to pronounce the name of an absolute cocksucker? Like, why? Why are you bothering with that? Who gives a shit? We all know the actually urge is very strong for some people. Just like calling you orchid is wrong, that's my my take on the matter. See, there's the difference, though. You see, these guys are bigots, and I'm not. I'm a firm believer in turnabout is fair play.
I firmly believe that this is worth discussing and worth analyzing because in this live stream, she recently accused me of plagiarizing most of my work. Not simply my YouTube work, but my writing work.
You have to wonder, like, how the fuck did this guy end up as, like, a writer for a literary website? Of course, we know how. He stole most of his work from other people. Then there's Long John Silver.
I have been writing in some form online since 2017 for various publications. And to accuse someone of having most of their writing being plagiarized for multiple jobs, multiple positions over the course of nearly a decade, that's kind of a substantial accusation. Of course, Lily provides no evidence for this, so it's not a serious accusation whatsoever. In her accusation of me plagiarizing, she doesn't provide a single example of me plagiarizing, outside of plagiarizing a specific video. The We Are Not Dead / The Dire Gentleman's response to Lily Orchard's 100 writing tips. We Are Not Alive, of course, know I made a video about those writing tips. They're commented on the video, both before it was released and after it was released, and it seemed very happy for me shouting them out in the video. Now, here's what I find very funny, Lily. How could I have plagiarized this 4 or 5 year old video if I had no script? The entire video I made was off the cuff. It was improvised. I made up as I went along. Furthermore, I referenced things that happened after that video was released, including videos that were released the week I posted the video. I was recording that video the week it came out. Improvising, responding to new things that you had posted that week. How can the whole video be plagiarized if I'm responding to multiple things you said long after your initial writing tips were published and long after the video you claimed I plagiarized in its totality was released? Furthermore, you are invited to watch both side by side. In fact, I encourage you to watch both side by side, or both individually. They're both really good videos, to see where potentially our opinions are intersected. In fact, I encourage it, because I think with the division of our opinions is what makes both videos so interesting as a set. How can it be plagiarism if there's such different topics and different examples cited? Well, the simple reality is I don't think she's watched the video. I think she's just throwing accusations out because it's what she does. Back in July, she claimed I was stealing her content for her streams, where I reacted to her videos. Now, of course, I reacted to a 20-minute video and a 3-hour video with about a 30-minute introduction, commentary throughout, pausing the video. No theft there, just a reaction. She claimed I showed her entire Pokemon review video in each of the 3 Pokemon streams that she copyright struck. Well, that's impossible. How can I watch the same video in its totality 3 times when the video was twice as long as each of those individual streams? It's just not possible. Are you saying that you have ownership over my face, over my room, when I showed my bookshelf? Is that what you're saying? Hard to say. And furthermore, going back into my writing career, are you accusing me of plagiarism for that? Well, that's harder to say, but I do know for a fact that you do accuse me of plagiarizing in those instances, because you're saying most of my work. Furthermore, you implied that I was fired from my feminist writing job for misogyny, you claimed.
If you clearly haven't even seen that fucking movie, why would you even know the character's name?
Clearly.
Remember, this guy presumably works for a feminist publication on top of that. They let this fucking basement dweller work at a feminist publication. Actually, wait, no, I think he got fired from that.
Yes. He did get fired.
I wonder what specifically caused it.
From what I heard through the grapevine, misogyny.
Something you heard through the grapevine, of course. Now, the reality is that I freelance wrote for various websites for several years. According to the website Muckrack, which tracks publications by journalists and freelance journalists, I have about 1,439 articles written under my byline. The more recent ones you see there are older articles that have been rewritten by new writers at CBR, a practice that I find very problematic, but I can go into CBR's issues another time. Regardless, 1,439 articles. That's a lot of material that you think I plagiarized, Lily. I think it's time for you to start reading. At a certain point, I decided that I wanted to move into doing YouTube. There's just no physical way I could write an article every week and do a video every week. There's just no time. So I had to put one aside. I put myself in front of the camera, and I put the freelance writing behind me. I still used all the skills I used in that career in writing these scripts. Fast turnaround, and attention to detail, articulation. But about a year ago, I stepped away. Left on good terms. I'm still friendly with almost all my editors, and the ones I'm not friendly with, I just didn't keep in contact with. No bad blood anywhere. Your accusation requires proof that I was fired from anywhere. And quite frankly, I was never fired from any position for bad behavior or poor work conduct or anything like that. The reality simply is that you are making something up and using rumors you probably started, to justify it. And that's damaging to a person's reputation, especially as they're building a platform on a place like YouTube, you know? You're using tactics that have been used in the past to, I don't want to say the word cancel, because cancel culture, I think, is a bit of a misconstruing of anything. But you're using various tactics to damage my reputation, both among audiences and among my peers. Now, thankfully, I don't think my audience or my peers take this all very seriously. They know who you are. You know, your reputation is in the gutter. But let's take a second here for a second. You accused me of, what was it, plagiarism, was it? Lily, it'd be really embarrassing if ever you, say, sourced another article to write a popular video that got millions of views, isn't it? And then admitted to it publicly, that you sourced the article without citing it. Wouldn't that be something? And then only years later, reference that you sourced the article. But it's not like we have any clips of that, do we?
She lifted some language from it entirely. This whole section right here in her transcript. And she even flashes the article on screen, so I know it's the right one. So, yeah, she did a little Somerton there, didn't she? Just lifted that whole paragraph. So remember in my original react where she said, oh, the language I was using in that section wasn't really mine to use. I mostly took it from an article I sourced. And remember what I had to say to that? I do.
But the language I used for that segment was beyond inappropriate, mostly taking it from an article I sourced. Some of the words coming out of
an article you sourced? And it's the article's fault you said those words? So you mean you were just, like, plagiarizing, you were just reading an article and not actually giving your own opinion? Probably because you didn't actually even watch the full show, I bet. Yeah, is that it? Or you just, like, saying, you saw people, like, making the reach that Sugalate is somehow racist, and then just went with it because it was, like, the popular hate opinion at the time? Because you're a fucking sheep? Is that it, Lily? I'm getting oddly aggressive right now. So yeah, it turns out I was right on the fucking money. Back in my very first react to Lily. I was right on the fucking money.
Alright, excellent. So you can see right there, I'm not accusing Lily of plagiarism. I'm accusing her of sloppy citation. I'm not going to say you plagiarized. So I will say you plagiarized, but I won't, because I think that's beside the point. I also don't want to go side by side and comb through your scripts again, because quite frankly, I have better things to do than watch your videos. I have many videos I want to write on my own. But the reality is simply this. You accuse me of plagiarism. You accuse me of misconduct in a professional environment. And your fans are sending harassing emails to other YouTubers about me and about other people and about private Tumblr blogs or smaller Tumblr blogs to what? Intimidate people? I mean, half of that rambling email, again, I don't think it was Lily who sent it, I think it was a fan, but half of that was spent complaining about Courtney, which makes no sense. I confused almost everyone, by the way. That's how they knew it was garbage, because, you know, it's a call-out post about me, but, like, Courtney's the subject? Courtney, your sister? Courtney, Pete? That's the target? Seems strange to me. Of course, you're more than welcome to come here and prove that anything you're saying is true or accurate, but you and I both know how you are when you're confronted in a debate where you don't have complete control, where you can't yell at your audience for donating through your Twitch channel as opposed to your Ko-Fi or whatever. We both know that you're the kind of person to cower from a discussion immediately.
It's one of the more persistent pieces of fiction that pass around about me, because nothing passes the rounds better than passes the rounds more than trans girl predator.
Right.
And just
Okay.
I just don't talk about it. I don't acknowledge it. I don't give it attention. That's pretty much all it's been.
Okay. Well, I guess at this point, regardless of you v. Courtney, like, I understand. I think there's been some transphobia on the table, and that's not okay. So, as a favor to you, if I reached out to Courtney and got her to apologize for the trans.
No. I do not want you to reach out to Courtney at all.
Okay, well, let me put it this way. I don't feel comfortable with any of this, Lily. I don't feel comfortable with these allegations against you. I just don't. So...
All right, goodbye.
You only argue when you have complete control of who's listening and who's responding to you in real time. I think that's why you can't stand me. It's not because of any isms or anything like that. You can't stand the fact that you can't control the narrative. I'm not one of your friends. I'm not someone you watched growing up. I'm just someone who said your opinion was wrong, and you just can't handle that, can you? The reality is simply this. You are making accusations. You are making statements. You're saying you believe in fair play. Well, I will issue my fair play to you, Lily. I will push this into legal action, because what you are committing is slander. It is simply and basically slander. You are doing this you've done this for years. You've done this to every single critic you've ever had. Well, this time you're dealing with someone who won't be so easily pushed around. So consider this again. If you're going to make accusations about multiple publications over the course of a decade and claim that they did not check their sources to see if the works that they published in their name were plagiarized, you better be able to prove what you say. If you don't, then this is your warning. Knock it off. All right? This is not something you can just, criticize my work. Say my work sucks. Say my name sounds dumb. I don't give a fuck about that. Quite frankly, I am sick and tired of people condoning your bad behavior because they don't want to say what needs to be said. You are committing a crime. If you continue, you will have to actually face the consequences for your crime. Let's be perfectly frank as well. All of this is just a distraction from the Joon video. A video that compiles a record of your bad behavior over the course of several years in one easily watched 2.5 hour package. So let's be perfectly frank once again. You are not going to escape the fact that people now know what you did. You are not going to be able to move away or hide it by pointing the finger at critics who are more easily poked at. I find it funny that you're targeting a YouTuber with under 50,000 subs when one with over 300,000 is directly criticizing you. That is because you refuse to actually engage. You choose only to distract. Well, now we're going to keep pushing the bar back against you. We are going to continue to push the spotlight back on the issues that you so desperately want to suppress and hide in the continuing news cycle you think you manage. Well, guess again. You do not.